Okie dokie. My name is Scott, and in this video, I'm going to be going through distraction-free VS Code. So, first up, this isn't a guide, it's not an introduction, it's not a crash course, it's not anything like that. It's just my opinionated view of distraction-free VS Code. So, if you want a lot more sort of background, a crash course on VS Code, then I would suggest checking out some content from James Q Quick. He's done this 1.5 hour long crash course on VS Code, so props to James for doing that. This goes over everything you need to know about VS Code, so I'd suggest checking it out. If there is like a lot more configuration, you want to get really good at using it as a power user, then I'd suggest you check out Code Stacker Jesse on YouTube. He's got a product now for VS Code Superhero, a book and a bundle. And there's also Caleb Porzio, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who has done Make VS Code Awesome. So quite a lot of the things I'm going to go through on this I've taken from here. Caleb's got a product for this as well, and he's got a ton of content on it. And this is a product which you can buy with key bindings and lots of video content as well, which I'm not covering here. This is great. Thanks for doing this, Caleb. I really appreciate the email course you did a while back. I took some great pointers from there. So here is the vanilla VS Code, and where is the other one? Here is how I have my VS Code at the moment. So something a bit like this. So you notice just all of the tabs are gone. The bar at the bottom here is gone. Just removed everything, so it's just the code. So I've done that in VS Code with a lot of settings. So it's going to go through all of that now. So these warnings here, because I'm on Windows and it's not pointing to the Windows subsystem Linux, I'm not going to install those. So first thing you can do to dramatically change the appearance of your VS Code would be to install a theme. I'm going to do that. But you notice, so this is scottspence.com, and so is this. You notice that the file here is italicized. That means if I sort of skip around, it's not going to keep it there. If I double click on this one, it's not italicized anymore. And then when I open up other tabs, it sort of flips to them as well. So I'm just going to double click on that and then do it on here too. Cool. Do that. So first up, I use Sarah Drasner Night Owl. So I'm not going to be doing a whole rundown of my extensions, just what I have to make it look nice. Maybe I'll do another video in the future of all the extensions I use. I think I've done a post on it in my digital garden prior. There's also another good one from Sarah Drasner called In Bed by 7. This one's quite nice too, but there was some missing styles on it. So I'm just going to go back to Night Owl, but that's quite nice too. Cool. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look between two again. So the font's a bit different. Font size, I can't read that font size. I'm getting on a bit in age, and that's quite hard for me to read. So one of the first things I do, it would be to go to the settings, and then one of the first things I do with the settings would be to take it from this UI, which is great. You can search for stuff. VS Code team's done a great job with this, but I think it's Workbench JSON. I like to have mine as the JSON file. You do you, I do me, and I don't like the this UI. So if I do Control comma again, it's going to open up the JSON file for me. So if I hit save here, nothing's going to happen because I want to have my tab spacing tabs. tab size. Tab size at 2, not 4. I hit save, it's going to indent that a bit, we should do. So there's a couple other things really, but ultimately for me it would be the font family and the font size. So if I just pick those out, edit a font family, and it's picked out the defaults: Consolus, Courier New, and Monospace. I use a font called Victor Mono and also Dank Mono. So Victor Mono, a lot of people hate it. It's grown on me. I quite like it. And then there's Dank Mono 2, which is a paid font by Phil Pluck. You can get it on Gumroad. And font size 18. Not the debug font size, editor font size. Editor font size. I don't like that. Cool. Much better. Right, so there's a couple of other bits like how the font blink, how the cursor blinks. Editor cursor blinking. They have like ones like this where I prefer breathe, I think it is. Breathe. Smooth maybe. There we go. Right. I think that's it really for the settings. Just we've got the nice big font size here. Let's take a look at its index file again. Much better. So I think I would like to have a bit of spacing in the in between these, which is line height. Editor line height, and I don't think 0 is going to work. Let's put this over to the side here. So if you drag and drop, you can sort of split the panes. I hit save. That's going to look disgusting. No, okay. Then 20, 30. Nice. Okay, that's a lot nicer. Cool. That's looking good. So I'm guessing if we go back to, where is my one? Yeah. The syntax highlighting looks a bit different. That's because that would be style components something. Not snippets. No. A guy called Julian Bosnia or something. Style componentes. It's the syntax highlighting. So I'll find it. Right. Go to VSCode, Scott, and find it. So I'm going to open up my extensions, which is Control K and X for me. And let's just take a look here. Here it is, right at the bottom. Julian, VSCode, style components, right. There it is, right. And this is probably going to prompt me to restart VSCode, because I have a feeling with Windows, when you're using Windows Subsystem Linux, it has like two partitions. It has one for Windows Subsystem Linux where it runs it on there, and the other for your Windows partition. But oh, it's fine. It doesn't want me to do it. Okay, so now we've got some syntax highlighting going on here. This font looks a bit thin as well, so I'm going to put in the font weight. Font weight at 700. Much nicer. Okay, so let's get these settings back over here and get that side panel open like that. So these are the couple of things from Caleb. So we have the activity bar, which is, I think it's this one on the side here. Activity bar visible. And let's put that false. Save. Yep. That's a bit more real estate we've got there. And then we've got Workbench Editor, Show Tabs. That's these at the top. It's not that scary because we're going to get some key bindings where you can sort of toggle them. But you do find that Workbench Editor, tabs, Show Tabs, false, hit save, the tabs go, cool. And then we are looking for sidebar. So when he suggested this, first of all, I was like, whoa, move it where? But now I'm used to having it on the right. So hit save. It's over here now. So I'm looking here. My main monitor is here where I usually code, and that is where the code is. I'm looking over this way now because I'm on my second monitor. But this is great here, and you can just ping this out this far. So you can explore on the side, and you can switch over to your source code, your extensions, and debug, all things like that, with keyboard shortcuts. Come on to them in a second. A couple more things. Just want to go over here. So we've got the status bar at the bottom here. Let's hide this. Editor. It's Workbench. It's got startup status bar. There we go. False. Going to remove that. So what we're left with is just code. Just code panel and the Explorer down the side if you need it. And then what else is there? Editor. Oh, the min map. So this min map, you can disable it if you want. It's quite handy sometimes, but it does take up a bit more screen real estate. And you do find that when you've made changes, it does show up. So you can see it here. There's a little line, and that's enough to help you find it sometimes. So minimap, and then that goes from the side there. Editor line height. I think I did line height already. Here it is, editor line height 30. Cool. Right, so I think we're set for that. Let's give it a comma. So there's all of these things here. I don't mind having these open at all. I know with Caleb, his course, he said just get rid of them. You can right click and you can say, you can hide that one for the outline. I don't use that one much, but folders and open editors, I use it a lot. And you will find when you get other extensions, you have options in here as well. Cool. Okay, so I've got rid of the tabs, got rid of the activity bar, and how am I going to get them back? That's where the key bindings come in. So if you use the control palette, the command palette, not control palette, which is Command Shift P, and then you look for key bindings. So this can get a bit confusing. There's key bindings, shortcuts, JSON. Now I think it's this one. It's not that one. I always get these confused. Don't save. Control P. Key bindings. Not that one. This one. Open keyboard shortcuts. There we go. So this one here. This is where we can put in things for the panels to expand them and to toggle them. So the first one. So right, let's just go back a step and go to the activity bar, just here. I'll just disable that for a second, get the activity bar back. If we hover over these, you'll see that we've already got the keyboard shortcuts for them, but I always find these unreliable, and like Control Shift G, depending on where you are in the editor, doesn't work sometimes. So Caleb pointed this out in his course, and it's just one you can add in with the key bindings here. So if you do key command, right, so for let's just do it for Git first of all. So we want key, we don't want key, we want this to be, can we record one? Define the key binding with Control K M. Right, so for Git we want to do Control K G, and then press desired key combination and press enter. Cool. Let's get rid of this one here, using the meta. Right, so the command we want to do for this is git source control, which is SCM. Focus, toggle. See that one? View SCM. Jesus. View SCM. And then when I have to use that. Do that. Hit save. And then do Control KG. And then it toggles my source control. But because I'm running this on my Windows partition, I haven't got it configured there. So that was a terrible example. Let's do it for the Explorer view. So let's do this again. We'll do this. And we'll do Control KE for the Explorer. And then this will be Explorer Workbench Explorer. File view focus, we just want this one here. And then we'll get rid of this when again. So we'll try this, hit save, Control KE. That toggles that in and out. Cool. So these are cool. Right, basically I'm just going to copy pasta these from here, rather than me sort of try and IAM up in the second window I've got here. So Control KE for Explorer, hit save. Control KG for source control or Git. Control KD for debug, and Control KX for extensions, because I never used to be able to find these very easily, but with this it's a lot easier now. It's just adding like an extra layer to it. So the ones I've put on for myself are Control KZ, which is for status bar. So basically I've run out of things to add, because I think Control KS is something else. Yeah, it's for the shortcuts. And the same with the tabs. Control KT is for the theme. So I was putting Control KQ, show the tabs. Toggle them on and off. And oh, there's the activity bar as well. Control KA to toggle your activity bar if you need it. I don't do that very often. So that's it for that. I think that's pretty much it. Let's close this. And let's close this. So there are some, like for the line bubbling and for the like duplicating lines. I've noticed on Linux it doesn't do that. So that's another good time to put it in your settings JSON. You can sort of define it in here as well. But I'm on Windows at the moment, and Shift Alt down works fine for this. But I have noticed on Mac, it's not the same key combination, so I'd like to use it for that. Cool. Okay, so I think that's it really. I don't think now's a good time to go over the key combinations. Sorry, not the key combinations, my sort of extensions I have installed, because it's like a dummy version of my VSCode I've got set up. So it's not going to be a good time to do it on here, but I could just close this and then go to my actual VS Code and then go through them on here. But I think for this video, it's just going to be just going over those key bindings, really, which I find really useful. So this is what I've got in my current setup, which is all fine. I don't think there's anything on there I haven't covered. Yeah, it's just Control X to show you extensions. So yeah, I am a sort of, I do like using the keyboard a lot more now, especially with getting rid of all the distractions to have you sort of mousing over stuff. One other thing I like to use quite a lot is global shortcuts, snippets. But I don't appear to have any configured, which doesn't seem right. Oh, I appear to have lost. Oh no, not here. Yeah, so keyboard snippets and stuff like that. There are a bunch of extensions out there you can get where you can just do a like without console log. I have a couple here. We can just tab and it'll auto complete your console log for you. I do have quite a lot of those set up in my global snippets, but it didn't seem to insert a snippet, configure user snippets. Oh, here it is. Right, so if you click on that, then you see you've got my console log, and I'd like to have it so you can see where it's been logged out. So that's just like an indication of where your console log's happening. And there's also a load of other ones I'll put in here for my sort of day-to-day usage. I prefer this over installing extensions, and I just keep these in like a GitHub repo and then just copy paste it in when I need to. But I think that's it for this, really. If there's anything on here which I've gone over which doesn't make sense, because I've got to the point now where I think I'm rambling. So you know, a bit of feedback would go a long way, as to if you found it useful, if you thought it was just me copy and pasting stuff, which that's exactly what it was. But it's just, you know, I thought I'd share my sort of opinionated view on how I use VS Code. So comments, you know, welcome. Please let me know what you think. And I'm just glad to have got to the end of this. I've sort of tried to start recording this several times, done it through several crashes on my machine. So I'm happy to have got here and shared this, and I hope you found some of it useful. And that's it for this one, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, bye bye.